Hello everybody and welcome to another episode of Blood on the Razor Wire TV, where we bring it to you real and we bring it to you raw. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, definitely leave a comment, hit that notification button too. And definitely share this video because I promise you somebody needs to see it. There's a young man out there, a young lady that needs to see this video. As most of you know, this channel is about saving kids from life imprisonment and premature death in the streets. And I couldn't think of a better two young boys, really shouldn't call them young men, that I could highlight and react to what's going on. See, where I'm from, we've had a recent spree of carjackings. People robbing people for cars at gunpoint. Really, I don't see any sense in robbing people for cars in my city. Because what are you going to do? Go out for a joyride? You're not going to sell the car and make a whole bunch of money. You're not going to drive this car for the next 4 or 5 years. You're going to drive the car for what? For the day? You're going to rob this car, go hide it in the garage and think you're going to bring it out next week and it's yours? Not going to happen, man. Not going to happen. So anyway, we're going to highlight these two cats, Edgar Tolentino and Anthony Jacobs. And when you look at their pictures, I mean, this is their mugshots. These ain't high school pictures. But I want you to look at their pictures, right? Look at these young kids that are smiling. They've just been charged with murder. And they're smiling. Charged with murder and robbery, and yet you're smiling. Smiling for what? Do you not know what's coming? Do you not know what's up ahead? Are they nervous? Is this the way that they disguise their nervousness and their fear? It's possible. But you know they say what makes you smile now will make you cry later. And I can promise you that those smiles will fade. As reality begins to work itself out, as these young kids begin to go to court, they meet with their lawyers, and they start finding out they're facing 25, 30 years to life, the smiles will fade. Or perhaps we might see an episode of First 48, where one of them ends up with 30 years, the other ends up with 10. These two kids are probably best friends, but I'm sure they'll be separated by their crime. So what crime did they commit? Yeah, we're talking about carjacking, right? So Edgar and Anthony, they decide they want to steal a car. They're going to carjack someone. And they do. They find this old fella, 71-year-old man, Richard Cashapp. They carjack him. Pull out the gun, point the gun at him, and they shoot him. They shoot this 71-year-old man and they kill him. So now Richard's gone, 71 years old. I don't know his story. Might have been married, maybe for 50 years. His family's grieving. People are left sad. It's a horrible thing, right? It's a horrible thing. But I'm sad too. And I'm going to tell you why I'm sad. I'm sad for Richard, but I'm also sad for Edgar. I'm also sad for Anthony. Why am I sad? They killed someone. That's what some of you might be thinking. I'm sad because I know what these kids are about to face. I'm sad because these are probably two young men that needed some character education. Two young kids. Two young kids that forever changed the path of their lives because they want to go out and rob a car, not even realizing that they're going to do nothing with the car. What are they going to do with this car? So they're going to trade in their life, 25, 30 years, so they could go out on a joyride. Young killers. Young killers that think irrational. Young killers that made irresponsible choices. Young killers that have changed the course of their life. And now where are they going? They're going into a prison. They got prisons in New York for people like this. You know, back in the day when I was a youngster and I went to state prison, I went to Comstock, Great Meadow Correctional Facility. And my co-defendant, who was 16, just like me at the time of our crime, we had an assault second. We both got a 2 to 6. He went to Cashapp. So these two young kids are probably going to Cashapp or going to Comstock. Two places in New York that they call gladiator school. These kids don't even look like they're built like that. Look at the smiles on their faces. These two kids look like gangsters. And look at this video right here. Look at the way he's walking. tall and proud, little smile, little smirk. Man, that stuff's all over with. That stuff's all over with. I'm telling you that these kids are going to end up with 25 to life. Maybe 32. 7 years for the robbery, the carjacking, 25 years for the murder, and they're going to be sitting in prison thinking, man, I'm going to be getting out of prison when I'm almost 50. Possibly. That's possibly. Depends on what they do in prison, right? They're going to go before the parole board. And usually when you got a murder and you go before the parole board, you got a murder carjacking, that parole board might not be letting you out. That parole board might leave you in prison for the rest of your life. Go to prison at 16 and die in prison. That's a long time, man. Nobody wants to be that dude. When you sit back and think about it and you watch the video, you really want to be that dude? You want to be that 16-year-old that never gets out of prison? Yeah, I know. It's the tough guy thing, right? Ain't no real tough guys in prison. All that tough shit's out the window, man. It goes out the window, man, when you're sitting in that cell all by yourself, all alone. You're sitting in that cell and you're like, damn. Some nights you might be sitting in that cell hungry, rubbing your stomach. Like, damn, I'm hungry. Sometimes you might want to make a phone call. And be like, damn, I can't call nobody. And eventually you go to prison at 16. What relationships have you really built? I mean, how many homeboys are going to come visit you? How many girlfriends did you have that will come visit you? 16, 17, 18-year-old girls ain't trying to come visit you in prison. That stuff don't happen very often, my friend. Like I always say, the only person left will be your mother. Your mother will be the one to come visit you. She'll be the one to struggle to send you money in prison. Make sure you make your commissary. Crazy, man. Crazy things. Don't be that kid, man. Don't be that dude. You're better than that. Go look in the mirror and ask yourself what you're worth. You're worth more. Agar and Anthony, were they worth more than the car that they robbed? 100%. But now, there's consequences to pay. Consequences of losing your freedom. Consequences of spending lonely days in jail cells. Consequences of living around men for the next 25 to 30 years. You're going to be living around other men every single day. And prison ain't a fun place. People are yelling, screaming. Sometimes you never even got any peace where you can sit back and think to yourself. Stuff's all out the window, man. Mayhem. Anger, violence, darkness, depression, loneliness. Those are all the things that Agar and Anthony are going to experience. They're going to experience every bit of that. They will not experience what it's like to go to a high school prom. They will not experience what it's like to take a young lady out on a date. They will not experience what it's like to drive a car. Ironic, isn't it? They will not drive a car for the next 25 to 30 years, yet they're in jail for stealing one. Stealing a car that they could do absolutely nothing with. You don't want to be Anthony. You don't want to be Agar. You don't want another man telling you what to do for the next 25, 30 years of your life. You don't want to be locked in the cell like you're a little kid. You don't want to be writing home begging your mother to send you $100 so you can buy a TV to put in your cell. Yeah, I've seen plenty of that. Bunch of young dudes come to jail. They ain't got no money. They're broke. They got to beg their mama for $100 to buy a TV that they can put in their cell. Man, rough, man, rough. I don't understand it. I don't understand it. Maybe I should, but I just don't. But I want you to understand it. I want you to understand what you're worth. I want you to understand that you don't have to take this walk. I want you to understand that you don't need to have a mugshot smiling. You need a mugshot smiling. Nah, you don't need that. What you need is a picture with your prom date. What you need is a picture with your wife when you get married. What you need is a picture with your mother. What you need is a picture with your family, with your father. Too many young kids killing. And most of the time it's young kids killing other young kids. Lives lost. Funerals. People crying. People left heartbroken and sad. Nah, you don't need to be that kid. You know why? Because you're better than that. You don't need to be a young killer. You need to be a young man that's on a path of success. You need to be a young man that understands his worth. And with that, I hope you got a message today. With that, I hope that you think next time before you make a bad choice, before you think about carjacking someone, because it's absolutely nonsense. It's worth nothing. Or before you decide to go rob a bank for $1,500, $2,000. That ain't nothing, man. Before you decide to rob a Domino's Pizza or Wendy's. Man, you ain't getting no money out of that. You're backward hustling. You're backward hustling, man. You're making the wrong choices for all the wrong reasons. Blood on the Razor Wire TV. And with that, we're out.